Hello everyone and welcome back. So, I've talked about the prologue and such in the intro, so that all leads into this. This is the only campaign that's available right now. Obviously, I'm sure many of you know about the advertisement of the big map campaign, this is kind of what it's been building towards. The mortal empires that we got in Warhammer 2, that's also supposed to be brought over into this game. The idea was that they wanted to be able to combine all three games into one huge, gigantic campaign and map. That's not here yet. So you're just going to have to sit tight and wait. I imagine that's on purpose also to let people have time to get more familiar with this game and its mechanics and, of course, the factions that we can play in this game. Now, of course, it's worth noting that that at least Kislev was around in the first Warhammer game. They were just kind of over there, but they weren't, like this. Like, the leader of Kislev wasn't the person we're looking at today in this video. They were just kind of a generic faction over there that took up a huge portion of the map. In the first Warhammer game, there was a big focus on the Empire and Bretonnia and other factions, the Dwarves, the Greenskins, and such. And, the Warriors of Chaos with Archaon, the Everchosen, which I'm so curious how that's going to work with what they've been done with the Chaos factions here. The thing is, what they've done with this game is that they have fleshed out some of those factions, like Kislev. Kislev feels much more fleshed out as an actual faction, as opposed to just another generic Empire-like faction from the first game. So, like, in this campaign here, remember how in the first campaign it was, just kind of play a Total War game, and then eventually the Forces of Chaos invade as the big bad faction you had to defeat? In the second game, they tried to give it more of a story focus with the Vortex campaign. And then some of the other DLC factions had their own separate thing going on, apart from what was going on with the Vortex. Here, this campaign is called The Realm of Chaos. The winds of magic royal, stirred into a tempest by the roar of a dying god. So I can't help but want to do the advisor voice. I like his voice. I like the advisor. I like the voice actor. I think he has a really nice voice for this kind of narration that he does. I think they chose well with this voice actor. So sometimes I like to do this. Besides, some of these texts are actually voice acted by him or another character. So they added even more voice acting for this, which I applaud and I really like. Now demon and mortal alike must break through the eldritch storm and enter the realm of chaos in search of the ultimate prize. Will the demonic lords of chaos claim victory and find favor with their dark masters? Or shall the denizens of a world scarred by constant war endure the trials and temptations of the Chaos realm? The choice is yours. So as I said, I'll make videos on each of these separate ones here. For now, we're starting with Kislev. Probably the group that's most affected by what just happened in that prologue. The Tsardom of Kislev, known as the Realm of the Ice Queen, is the most northerly civilization within the Old World. A powerful and war-driven country, the inhabitants of Kislev are wolf-tough and self-reliant warriors, valiant and determined in the defense of their motherland. Yes, it is called the motherland. And yes, they do sound like Russians, so yes, if you want to make comparisons and jokes and such, there you go. For they are the bulwark against the horrors of the north. Since its founding, Kislev has been under constant assault by the hordes of chaos. Countless generations of Kislevites have fought and died in the snowy tundra of those harsh northern oblasts, and it is thanks to these brave Kislevite warriors that mankind has managed to flourish in the south, huddled together in their warm, safe homes, whilst the sons and daughters of Kislev fight on until they draw their dying breaths. So, the faction gets the Motherland, a mass devotion to invoke the gods of Kislev. By the way, Urson is not the only god of Kislev, as I discovered through this mechanic. Use these to gather your supporters and secure your power. Ottomans. Assign an Ottoman to govern a province and get unique benefits. The Ice Court. Train Frost Maidens and Ice Witches to gain powerful traits before recruiting them. So, we go to Kislev, and this may be the faction that has the most lords at launch here. 3. I look at these other ones. I know that there's 2 for the Cathay and the Ogres, and then there's, I think, 1 for each of the 4 Chaos God factions, but Kislev has 3, although one of them is locked by an achievement, but it really, I did that earlier today with not too much of an issue. If you're curious, it's basically, I'll show this in when we get to the map, but there are 3 certain buildings you have to basically occupy for at least 10 turns, total, for each of them, I guess all 3 combined for 10 turns, and then a mission pops up, a quest, and you go beat the quest, and you unlock that lord. But we'll talk about him when we get there. For now, we're going to talk about his daughter, the Ice Queen herself, Tzarina Katarin. Boka, the Ice Queen of Kislev, known as one of the most powerful ice witches to have ever lived. From the icy fastness of her capital city of Kislev, the Ice Queen rules her land with an aloof majesty. Her power is said to come from the very motherland itself, its frozen peaks and bleak tundra, giving her majesty of ice magic. So this is something that's actually really cool that they've added here that I like. If you want to get an idea of what the units and spells that you have available, here you go. You're able to just immediately look at all the different lords, heroes, your infantry, all the various different things here. If you're wanting to take a look at all those different things here. Snow Leopard's an elemental bear. Yes. I saw that. I was a yes. If you want to look at spells, obviously there's various different lores here. Cataclysm, Lore of Tempest and Lore of Ice are going to be like the 2 of the big ones. This is basically like the entire list, but the main ones I think you'll be using are Lore of Ice and Lore of Tempest when it comes to Kislev. So, when it comes to gameplay, now the map location, this is the map for the whole 3rd game here, basically. You can see this is basically the old world from the first game, but it's cut off here where the Empire is. So the Badlands, like the Southlands and all that, that's not part of this map. It basically reaches down to where Altdorf is, and then it basically gets cut off there. So you have like this portion here from that map, and then it gets expanded over here, and then this extra area is the Realms of Chaos that we will be visiting during the campaign, but that will be for later on. So you of course can be able to set up your settings here as you want. So, Katarin's effects. For the faction, Devotion generated 10 from successful Frost Maiden hero actions, plus 6 control, plus 3 for Frost Maiden her recruit rank, Ice Court training duration lowered by 2 turns. Minus 6 to corruption, which is great going up against chaos constantly. Minus 50% upkeep for Ice Guard units, and minus 50% miscast base chance. Kislev, a realm forged by the Khan queens of old, the bulwark against the darkness, the living bastion that protects the Empire and the soft nations to the south. Since her father's death, Katarin has taken the throne, but there are many within the realm who resent her rule. Even now, the power of the Great Orthodoxy rises against the Ice Queen. If she is to save Urson, to step beyond her borders and into the Chaos realms, Katarin must have a united nation at her back. I journey to her now across the icy fringes to the Ice Court. If she is to take my advice, I fear she will need convincing. Word has reached the Ice Court of my coming, and an audience in her throne room has been granted. What it doesn't say here is that word of what happened to Urson has already reached them, and they think he's already dead. But they don't know the truth. But yeah, they're in mourning, and then here some old guy shows up saying, "No, he's actually alive!" Well, wait till you see how they respond to that.
A nation in mourning. False news has arrived before me. They believe Ursun is already dead. My proposition will require a delicate touch. I speak the truth. Your god is not dead. He lies in the realm of chaos, a captive of the Shadow Lord. It is no lie. For one drop of Ursun's blood, I can help you save him!
Choose your last words wisely, old man.
Through your bloodline, you and the bear are one. See past your grief. Search your heart. Her son is alive.
He speaks the truth. He speaks the truth! Silence! We have lost what is most precious. Many say I am at fault, that I no longer have the right to sit on this throne. So I stand. I stand with my people, all of you. And if it comes to it, I shall die with my people. We have been blinded by grief. Ursun lives, and while he fights to draw breath, we fight for him! For Ursun! For Kislev! For Ursun! For Kislev!
Ursun! Kislev! Ursun! Kislev! Ursun! Kislev!
Kislev marches north, into hell.
Our goal is to rescue Ursun, the god-bear of Kislev, from the clutches of Be'lakor. After fraught bargaining, my price is agreed, and I will do all I can to guide the Kislevites to their lost god.
Come then, before I change my mind and cast you into the ice. Advise me.
Your Highness, there are enemies close by that threaten your throne. If we are to save Ursun, they must be dealt with first. The Maelstrom has forced Northmen, worshippers of the Dark Powers, into Kislev lands. They have taken Kislev. Slay the trespassers. These incursions and the endless winter have sown doubt in the subjects of your burgeoning reign. Followers of the Great Orthodoxy resent your rule. Pacify such malcontents through diplomatic means or martial might. Kostaltin, the supreme patriarch of Ursun's cult, is the instigator of this rebellious feeling. He must be dealt with. If left to fester, it shall cause a schism from which Kislev will never recover. Fortunately, there are allies to be found on our borders, to the west and south. Foster alliances with the Empire and those Kislevite tribes who have always been loyal to your bloodline. There is much to do, Your Highness, if the motherland is to be secured and your god saved. Let us begin.
We'll talk about Kostaltin in the next video. So yeah, it gives you an idea of how the faction works, specifically this particular faction known as the Ice Court. That's Katarin's faction name. Motherland, gain devotion of their people through various factions, which can be used up here for that mechanic here. You can be able to train powerful Frost Maiden heroes and Ice Witch lords in the Ice Court, to be able to give them certain buffs to your particular liking here. So up here is what I was talking about. So Invocations is, and it's very similar to the rituals that you had in the second game, or the rites. Sorry, the rites. That's what I meant. So that's basically what this is kind of similar to. So you pick one of the four. As I said, Ursun is not the only god of Kislev, as I found out. It turns out there are some other ones here. Though for Ursun, you see the fate of Kislev is linked in many minds to the fortunes in favor of the god of bears, Ursun. Tor, the god of thunder and lightning. Tor, not Thor, Tor is worshipped as a warrior god, cleaving the sky to create thunderbolts. Though he may as well be Thor. I mean, come on, just add an H there, and it's like the description kind of fits. The god of fire and the sun. It was Daz who took the secret of flame from the sun and gave it to the ancient warrior chiefs. If I mispronounce any of these names, forgive me. Like I said, my knowledge on Warhammer is very, very, very minimal and small. I know bare bones certain things about Warhammer. So if I mess up these names, sorry in advance. Not intentional. I'm still learning. Salyak, the goddess of healing and comfort. Salyak teaches common sense and sound care, but will not save those whose time has come. The spiritual conflict for the motherland, the devotion of its people is fought over by the Ice Court and the Great Orthodoxy. We will talk about, or, learn more about the Great Orthodoxy when we pick Skeleton in the next video here. For now, let's see. Here we go. Hold on. No, that's... Hold on. There used to be a thing here where it would actually give me... So you can be able to look at the different kind of stats here that she has, the different spells that she has, her passives here, her trait, as I talked about before. But there used to be a thing here I could do to...
Snow is Kislev's ally.
For further information.
The Tzarina.
Where I could actually read up on her lore.
Ice Queen.
I'm trying to remember how I... That was the thing I could do in the previous game. I'm looking to see how I can actually do that here, if possible. By the way, she gets... and others get a war bear mount, which I'm just like, yes. Yes, please. Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna be a little sad if there's, no more of an actual, lore or wiki page here for these things. Considering that there was in the previous game and all of a sudden it wouldn't be here, it just kind of bothers me that that would be the case. Huh. I don't know. Hold on a second.
Embrace this welcome cold, Kislevites. They are one people.
Huh. Well, it seems as if, I don't know, maybe they got rid of that. I'm going to look into that, try and figure that out. But I was hoping to read up on more lore involving Katarin, and I'm not seeing anything here that's like, hey, you want to know more about the lore of this character? Well, here you go. But maybe that's all the lore that there was to her. I doubt it. I have a feeling someone's going to be like, no, there's definitely more to it. But I can't find the thing that tells me more about her, unfortunately. I'm looking for it, and I'm just not seeing it. By the way, they did make some changes to the quest thing here, where it's now lined up here. But if you have this up and it gets really long, it kind of blocks it. It's just... They made some changes here with the interface I'm not too crazy about, unfortunately. So that's the faction leader. So this is the new menu screen. I find it kind of interesting. I was like, really? This is the menu screen? Okay.
Snow is Kislev's ally.
It's interesting that it looks like as if they don't have that page anymore that used to be a regular thing. You know, that you could just right-click on something and it would be like, hey, here's more lore about this, you know? But right now, I'm just not seeing it at all here, which is just very disappointing that that would be the case. that they would actually get rid of those little bits of info in case you want to read up more on the lore of this character, but I guess not. Huh. I don't know. I'll try and figure that out off camera to see if that's still a thing, but yeah. That's Katarin. That's her intro, and I used to, I've only gone part of the way through this campaign, mainly to unlock her father, Boris, and then I stopped. It's also not quite an easy faction to play, at least for me. There's a lot of hybrid units, a lot more so management. Plus, of course, there's the court thing, as I was talking about here, which is, it's not like, hey, assign people to offices here. This is more so like training for lords and maidens, which is fine. Then you've got the Ottomans thing for the provinces, and of course, the diplomacy, so it's not too bad, I'm not exactly sure how well this army is going to hold up when we actually get to some of these other parts here, which is, this is mainly the campaign victory here. We're going to each of the 4 realms of the 4 different Chaos Gods, take down one of their princes, steal their souls. That's how we open up a portal to the Forge of Souls to fight Be'lakor and save Kislev. Or not Kislev, Ursun. Now, you can still do a domination campaign victory if you want. Like, if you wanted to go ahead and do this on your own, basically you could just do the campaign victory, and then once that's over, you could keep going and do a domination victory if that's what you want. Even though you've already beaten the campaign victory at that point, you could still do domination if you want, but anyways. So, when we return, we will be learning more about the Great Orthodoxy and its zealot leader. Stay tuned.